gentlemen, may I have your attention, please? The show starts in 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, go.
What is going on, everybody? Good to see you guys back for another Wrenchin Wednesday. Believe it or not, this is number 10. So that's relatively hard to believe. It's not technically, officially, if you will, number 10, because we did a few on Facebook before we got to where things were on YouTube and Facebook and all that. But those were those were really laid back comparatively to, how things are now. So make sure I get from producer Kaylee that everybody can hear me. So first time in a while we've had a non-issue on people hearing me right off the get-go. So, but what is going on, guys? Let me know you're in here and all that good jazz. Let me know if you're new in here. Let me know where you're from, where you race at. Gonna be super casual, super easy night. Don't have a ton of. I don't really have a set topic. We've actually been working so much here lately that didn't get a huge chance to really put anything together for this week in particular, which is okay. That's no problem. But we can try to cover and touch on things, whatever everybody's got. So, Cody, what is up, man? Rob from Canada, very cool. Dan Tyler, awesome. But yeah, awesome, guys. Cool. We got about 20 people in here already, which is awesome. I love that. But and it looks like we're international. Scale Labs goes international. That's pretty cool by Rob. So I know with a lot of our content here lately, posting some of the stuff that we've posted, we've gotten a huge reach and a huge bump in reach, which has been really, really good. But yeah, Tyler Clark, what's up, man? Cody already said hey to you. So awesome. I appreciate everybody being in here tonight. Was there a reason I needed to move this?
I was saying that because every time you look straight, you couldn't hear.
Oh, so let's do this a little bit. So still trying to work on the perfect setup here, guys. It's still a work in progress. Every episode's kind of a work in progress. So, but yeah. So, like I said, super casual, super kind of uninformed or uninformative night tonight. I have my sprint car here. I can get the camera kind of adjusted and all that good jazz. We can go to toolbar mode. Fantastic. And we can go to, I believe, right here. Boom. So got the sprint car right here. And actually, I have something to show you guys that I think is going to be pretty cool. I think you guys are going to like this a lot. So we have a little addition to the stable. But when I say that, check out the top wing of this guy. How cool is that? Is that not the coolest thing? I cannot wait to run this body. So I actually purchased a GFRP 24 Assault to try a few things on. And Mr. Rick Putnam, who is the man and incredibly awesome, totally surprised me with this and hooked us up and Scale Labs up to have in my opinion, one of the coolest wings and coolest wraps in general. I am typically not a green guy at all. I've never been a green guy on race cars or in racing. But Rick knocked this so far out of the park. How do you not? How do you not love this? So just wanted to show you guys that. Thought this was really, really, really cool. And I could not be happier with this. So I thought that was pretty sick. I don't know what you guys think, but I could not be happier. So never thought that we would really even do anything with Scale Labs on the do much with Scale Labs at all on the wrap front, because I kind of had my cars the way they were, but now I think we're definitely going to we're going to have to grow on that for sure. So yeah, super excited about that. Hopefully you guys think it's as cool as I do, because I think it's pretty doggone awesome. Cody says, do you think a spring smasher would be beneficial for RC racing? So I know there's some out there, Cody. Um, I would have to look and see. So did you happen, Cody, let me know, have you seen um the Scale Labs video that I did with checking springs? And if you haven't, definitely head on over there, because I excuse me, I kind of made my own spring smasher, if you will, with basically a set of calipers, a digital scale, and then a digital scale, and then a like an arbor press, basically, and then was able to rate my springs and check my springs that way. So if you haven't, go over to the Scale Labs channel when we're done with the live stream and check it out, because that's definitely worth checking out. But I also do know that some places do already make it, or do already make spring smashers that are quite a bit easier than what mine, the way I was doing it was. But mine, I was trying to kind of do it as a, stuff you may or may not already somewhat have laying around, if that makes any sense. So not that everybody has an arbor press, but let's see. David Shore loves. Thanks, David. Appreciate it. Tyler looks rad. Thanks, man. I appreciate that. Rob says now you have to add that character as a decal set. That would be cool. Would that be something you guys would be interested in at all? Would you guys like to run the Scale Labs logo on your cars? Because that would be pretty. That would be unbelievably badass to look around at cars all over the country, and guys have Scale Labs, the Scale Labs logo on their car. That would be like, holy crap, that would be cool. I never even thought about that, honestly, until Rob just said that. But yeah, if you guys would have any interest in that at all, let me know, because I'm sure that we can. I'm sure that we can make that happen. And then if you guys get wraps done already, there's a lot of logos and stuff already on our Facebook page, and things like that you can see, that would probably make it pretty easy to get. So, but yeah, that would be awesome. A lot of big changes for me and my personal program this week. I went and ran PT's RC Raceway over the weekend, and basically showed up with a ton of new stuff. So a crazy amount of new stuff, actually. So I can move the camera over. We'll go there. So I actually switched over to a full Coyote system, um, for the foreseeable future. Not because I'm sponsored or anything like that, but because I genuinely love. I am completely in love with the brand. I'm completely in love with the quality of the brand, and there are some really, really cool features that you kind of can achieve with having this system. I also really loved the idea of having a matching brand as far as motor and ESC. Don't mind everything, how long everything is right now. Again, with me testing everything out, I wasn't sure what I was going to like or what I wasn't going to like. So I made sure to leave everything as long as possible. And now I will kind of doll everything up throughout the week once we get ready to go to the races. Whatever the next race is going to be for me, I'll make sure that I doll this up correctly. But so give me a little grace there, because um, that is not how that's going to look. So. Kevin, what's up, man? Kevin says we need more spring smashers. Yeah, I need to go out and look and see who sells them, because I know there's places that sell them already that make really, really nice ones. Like I said, I was kind of just more or less showing like the poor man's way of doing things. But yeah, so the big thing for me was switched over to Coyote Motor, Coyote ESC, from running. I've ran Motive and Wits now. Both of those are perfectly great motors, and had no issues whatsoever with either one of them. And then the Hobby Wing ESC, I think I was actually given, or not given, but I purchased a used ESC from someone, and I'm pretty sure, hopefully it wasn't knowingly from him, but it was bad when I bought it, and so hopefully it wasn't a situation where a person was trying to get rid of it. But that happens, and that's kind of the character of people sometimes. So it is what it is. No big deal. But now we've got all new everything in both cars, so I'm happy to show off. And then and then the late model is up here as well. So yeah, the late model has the also the Coyote, and I actually switched. So I was running a 7.0 in both cars, and now I have an 8.0 in the late model, which is more industry standard, if you will. More and more people run that 8.0 in their late model Midwest mod, and then a lot of guys run that more um, 7.0 in sprint cars. So I feel like I'm ahead of times a little bit, or back to times a little bit there at least. And then the coolest thing, or not the coolest thing, but the other thing that was switched up and new was I actually also switched transmitters. So I switched over to I had a really good, really nice, really good Sanwa or Airtronics, whatever you want to call it, M12, not even the M12S. So I was like 10 plus years kind of behind on the transmitter game. So obviously that was bad. But I switched over to the Fly Sky Noble NB. What is it? MB4 Pro Plus or Plus Pro or something like that. So really, really awesome transmitter. Really changed how I was able to feel the car, and I have never felt so connected, which is really awesome. But when you buy the pro version of all of this, you get the transmitter itself, a battery pack. So that's something else that's different. The battery in this that actually runs the transmitter is in the stem here, is in the handle. This base is actually, it's just a power bank, but it's made to where that power bank goes up in here, and it is progressively charging your remote the entire time that you're racing. So you never have any fall off. Not that that's a big fight for a lot of people. I think batteries and technology is good enough now where that's not a huge deal, but it's a great perk. And then you also get a kind of faux carbon um, kind of travel box, as well as some of the goodies inside. Obviously, you have a custom. That was almost a bad finger smash. You have a custom foam insert. You also get a couple different sizes on wheels, and then you also get a wireless charging pad, which is obviously badass. So, don't have enough good things to say about it. Still getting used to it. Still getting comfortable with it. But so many people had it, and so many people rant and raved about how much they loved them that I had to switch over. It's an MB4 Pro Plus. That's right on the deal there. But so many people are running these now and are super fast with them and love them so much, and they're also incredibly cost effective compared to like a new Futaba or a new Airtronics. So, or Sanwa. But excuse me, yeah. So that was pretty awesome. Made a lot of really good strides. I was really always behind all weekend, for the simple fact that I really couldn't, you know, the ESC and how you program it and all that stuff's not terribly different, but somewhat different compared to the Hobby Wing, and I think it's different and kind of better in every way, really. But Wi-Fi module, and it's kind of has all the standard stuff that anybody would want and want to use. But the Coyote Wi-Fi module for tuning, and then it's everything is off your phone to quickly tune it. And one thing that would be really, really cool, and again, not having tracks very close, this really stinks. But what I would really like to do is you could actually tape this into the car, this Bluetooth module, and you could actually tune the car. You could go out, burn 5 laps or 10 laps or whatever you wanted to do, and then actually bring it back. You could bring it back to pit lane or whatever, and do some ESC adjustments right there on the spot, and never even have to turn the car off. So I really want to try that, and just to get immediate feedback and feel on things. But you kind of need practice days to do that. Obviously, I don't want to do that on a race day, and I don't want to do that on practice during a race day where there's a bunch of other people out and there's a long line and all that. So. But yeah, so kind of all behind all weekend, which is okay. Didn't have the results I wanted because of that, but I did get to leave the track basically feeling like, hey, if we could start the weekend over right now, we would have a lot different results. So that that's hard to complain about. But that was kind of my weekend. Don't know how you guys did. Hopefully everybody did really well. And had most importantly had fun more than did well. But yeah. So let's go back through the comments here a little bit. Cody says he's seen a post from a guy who had one. We're back to Spring Smashers, I'm assuming. He has one as making the used making that you use the spring and shock on. Oh, that's cool. So he does it with the shock too. That'd be interesting, like an interesting combination. And then let's see. Kevin says that would be great for guys that know how to use actual spring smashers like we do for the big cars. Yep. But most people have no clue. Yep. So Kevin, I don't know if you've got a chance to see the video that I did, but that's kind of, if you can't tell, that's directly from the big car world and kind of doing it the poor man's way. But yeah. So Cody says he loves his KO Pro remote. Feels 100% better than any Futaba he's ever had. I know Dustin Malcote's actually in here. Dustin really says I know Dustin really loved his KO. He has the same one I do now. He has the Fly Sky, but I know Dustin rants and raves about how good his KO was. And there's a lot of guys. I think Jones still uses one, or at least used to. And then there was a couple guys like down at Kamitsky and stuff that I know still had them. So Dennis, thank you, man. I appreciate it. I enjoy having you in here. Just as much as you enjoy the show. So thank you. And then Dustin says Hobby Wing does that as well. So Dustin's a big Hobby Wing guy, and there's absolutely nothing wrong with Hobby Wing ESCs as well. Like I said, I just like to try new stuff, and Dustin's 100% right. So I didn't mean to make it sound. Hopefully nobody took it as like Coyote is the only one that'll do the tuning and ESC tuning. They have a Bluetooth module as well that can do that. So it's not that Coyote is the only one that can. By any means. Hobby Wing does it. I'm sure there's even others outside of Coyote and Hobby Wing that can. I'm sure I would assume Tekin and companies like that have that technology as well. And if they don't, I'm sure it's coming. But yeah, I'm the kind of guy I kind of like going against the grain a little bit on trying things. And I know in the RC world, Coyote is pretty big, but in the oval scene, it's not massive, at least yet. So all of this stemmed purely from one of my really good buddies told me about his charger. I was in the market for a charger. I really needed one. I had a ProTech charger that's kind of one of the cheaper ones, and it took like 45 minutes to charge a battery or charge two batteries, which was really stunk because you storage charge all your stuff during the week. So either you have to start charging like in the car or in the truck on the way to the racetrack, which obviously you don't want to do if you don't have to, or you start charging when you get to the track. So it definitely doesn't take me 45 minutes to get everything set up at the track. So there's a lot of times I would get to the track and just sit there and wait on batteries when I could have immediately went out and started practicing. So one of my good buddies, Urik's typically in here, but he told me at PT's one weekend, he told me about the charger that he had, and I loved it so much. I went and used it. And he actually charged some of my batteries for me because I was trying to bump through some mains, and that charger was so great, so well built, so sturdy. So I mean, everything was the software, the UI, everything about it was so good. I was like, I love this brand, and I just totally fell in love with Coyote at that moment, and then immediately went to I started looking into motors and ESCs because wanted to support them any way that I could, and it was just everything was so quality, so top notch that I could not that I couldn't not try it, and had a great experience with it last weekend. One thing that I found really interesting that I feel like I felt and some really cool feedback that I could give was on my Wits stuff, which my Wits motors were awesome. They were burners too, and I was really always felt really fast with those. For me personally, as a driver, and somebody who's kind of coming up through and really trying to find speed and get better every race weekend, um, the Wits stuff felt incredibly like it had so much torque to where it was, a newer guy like me, it was sometimes hard to hold on to them coming out of the corner because they were so torquey and that bottom end was so much. Where this Coyote motor had so much so much top end speed, but it didn't have that like just grab you style bottom end, kind of like the Wit stuff did, and that tailored to me a lot better. So like I can't wait to get back to the racetrack and keep going. And like I said, it took me a few rounds through seeding and qualifying my heat race and stuff to really get it dialed in. The it's not even a negative; it's a great thing at PTs. But anybody who's ever been to PTs, once practice starts, I mean, the line does go by super quick, but there's always such a long line that you don't get the time sometimes that you need or want to really change and try a bunch of stuff, especially when you take, and it's my fault, when you take two cars to the racetrack with all new stuff, let alone a new transmitter too. So that's kind of, I again, I just didn't get to have my hands on everything as much as I would have liked, as quickly as I would have liked, which is fine. But like I say, if we could have started the weekend over, I think I would have had results to show how great everything was. So let's go back over here to the comments, check out everybody. We've got almost 50 people in here, which is just incredible. I feel like when we started, it was really great to have 10. So thank you guys so much for being in here and hanging out with us tonight. My man Spencer Dirks is in here. What's up, Spencer? He says Troy Fryer is the guy doing the Spring Smasher. You can smash together to check your rates and different travel numbers. Oh, so you can even get like load numbers and everything too. That's pretty cool. At different travel numbers, and you can do just a spring to check springs. That's awesome. We'll have to. I'll have to look into that, Spencer, because that would be actually really really cool to have. Let's see. Dan said he made a purchase this week with GFRP based off of your list or your last Wrenchin Wednesday. Bought 2 grease syringes. Cool. If Dustin's still in here, everybody poke Dustin. If Dustin's still in here, I'll take my commission check in quarters, please. But no, I'm giving him just hard time. That's awesome, Dan. Thank you for saying that. I'm glad that, I'm glad that I'm able to point people in the right direction. And yeah, Dustin's been nothing but good to me. I mean, basically everybody's been great to me in this hobby. So there's a short list of a few, but we'll let that go. Dennis says he enjoys his Motive products. Never had any. So I agree totally, Dennis. When I raced several years ago, Motive was, and this comes again with Dustin being in here talking about Dustin. Um, I always leaned on Dustin, and then when I raced with Alex Fanning as well, and they were all Motive guys, typically always. So I still run Motive batteries, and it would take a lot of convincing to convince me to change from Motive batteries. I love these things. I've got 4 of them, 6400, 100C, and they're fantastic. So I don't have enough good things to say about Motive either. Um, and I believe my spare motor. Now I actually sold. I just feel like I didn't need a bunch of motors, so I actually sold my Wit stuff, and they sold out within the first, like, both of them sold in like 2 minutes of me posting. So it went super fast. But I did decide to keep my Motive 7.0 so that when the time does come, or if I ever hurt anything or something, I've got a good backup, and it'll be that Motive 7.0 until I can maybe build up an inventory of Coyote stuff if that's the route I decide to go, or whatever. So, but yeah. And then I don't know if anybody's actually ever seen it, but since I talked about it, we can definitely look at it. I can even plug it in and we can talk about it. But this is the Coyote charger. And again, this is what started it all. This is what kind of talked me into going the Coyote route all the way around, because I mean, this thing is just it's just a beefcake. It is awesome. It's simple. And it's amazing all the way around. So I can actually plug it in, and I don't know if anybody's kind of already seen it, but I'm sure most of you have by now. If you haven't, then happy to show you guys this. But this thing is amazing. Great screen. I mean, everything about this thing is just it's class. It's top notch. So, but I mean, it's like, I don't know. It's just, and this kind of the stuff that doesn't matter but is really cool is like, it's modern looking. It looks like a little space pod sitting there on your desk, or on at your bench while you're working, or at the track at your bench. It's just everything about it, I don't have enough good things to say. And I know there's some chargers out there that can charge faster and things like that, but I've yet to find a situation where this thing doesn't charge fast enough. I mean, it'll take something from, coming off the racetrack that's down to 20, 30%, 40%, and it can get me back up to 100% in I would say sub 5 minutes, sub 10 minutes max. So this thing is fantastic. It is, again, I don't have enough good things to say about it. So it is awesome. And it's, again, the sole reason why I switched over to ESCs and motors for these guys too, because it's really cool. So, Bo Dunn, what's up, man? He gave some thumbs up, so hopefully he's liking it. Dan Tyler says, I built a spring checker that utilizes a drill press and a simple scale. Yeah, 100%. I sent a message to the page with a video. Cool. I'll check that out, Dan, when we get off the live here. So basically, you did the exact same thing that you basically did the same thing that I did. Much more controlled with the drill press. I really like that idea. I have a drill press. I could actually kind of reshoot that video and show on the drill press. That would actually help a ton. Good call. Aaron Harmison. What's up, Aaron? He says, good evening. Hope you're doing well tonight. What I did? Oh, drill press? Yeah. Kaylee's making fun of me over here. Joshua Collier says, the same one you used when you and Dustin were at Kaminsky. Yes, Josh. So this is exactly what the one that I had. Next time I'm down at Kaminsky, you'll have to come and check it out. And and there's Yurik. So Yurik's in here. Yurik is the one who told me that I needed this thing, and Yurik is kind of the OG guy that had one of these that I've seen, and I got this from him. I believe Yurik, or I know Yurik also runs all the same stuff too. So Yurik being one of my good buddies now, him and I are all the same. So when he blitzes past me and laps my ass every week, I can feel even worse about it because we have all the same stuff. Danta's in here. What's up, Anthony? He says, I say we get Yurik on here live to show how to use the charger. Ooh, that sounds good. We could do that. I could send Yurik a link real quick and get him on here. I don't know if he would like that or not. I doubt. I know he may come on the podcast, but he was pretty explicit about not wanting to do the live stream. Connor says, that's you. It seems like a new name. I don't know if you've been in here before or not, but thanks for coming either way. My Coyote charger will be here tomorrow. Just got my 23 Assault today. Awesome, man. No, you're gonna love everything about that. That'll be great. You're gonna love everything about that. I promise. Josh says, I saw it in use. Might forget. Yeah, you should for sure. I agree, 100%. And if you do, tell him Scale Lab sent you. See if we can make a run at the old Coyote. Yeah, and see Danta. Yurik says he's got a podcast to prep for. He doesn't have time to get on the live stream stuff, so that's fine. Aaron says, how many amps does it charge at? It has, so there's a range, obviously. See if I can do it without having leads. It will charge all the way up to 40 amps. So it'll charge at 40 amps. And it also, there's no need for a power supply or anything. I believe, Yurik, you can correct me if you're still in here, but you actually have it plumbed to where you run a power supply as well, an additional one. If I'm correct on that, maybe not. I can't visually remember your setup like crazy, but anyway, to answer your question, Aaron, it'll go up to 40 amps for current. Or I'm sorry, amps to charge at. Rob says he has that charger on the way. Cool. So there's all kinds of people that's going to have this thing. That's awesome. I love that. That's awesome. And it has all these, sounds like R2D2 when you're messing with it. Makes Kaylee's skin crawl, so we got to keep playing with it a little bit. She loves me, I promise. Let's see. Yeah, plenty of time. Or that's plenty. Yep, absolutely. Tracy says, anyone see that 2K Losi stock sprint race this summer at the Barn Raceway? Tracy, I'm not quite sure what you're talking about there. You elaborate a little bit more, and we can talk about it for sure. Danta says, I think if you're going to charge multiple batteries at higher amps, you need a power supply. That is, again, I haven't had any issues. I mean, I think you could go at 40 on both sides and have no issues. There's a power supply built into this thing. So, yeah, I could be wrong there, but I haven't had any issues yet. So yeah. I also don't charge at the 40. I charge my stuff at 20. So, have you tried a Coyote ESC? Yes, Josh. So you must have came in a little bit later, but that's what we were just talking about. So this week was the first week in both my cars. I have the Coyote ESC and motor in both my cars, and loved it. So, yeah, get in here on time, man. No, I'm just kidding. But yeah, so both cars are outfitted with the mod. They're Modi Crest, Modi 7.0, and Crest Modi 8.0. 7.0 is in the sprint car, 8.0 is in the late model, and loving them so far. They were nothing but great. So no complaints there. Need to bump those numbers up. Need to bump my amps up, Dustin. I honestly, somebody would have to give me a bit better education on what upping the amps would do. I honestly don't know that, or can't really talk on it because I haven't looked into that side of anything yet. With having going from a ProTech to this thing, I'm just happy to be charging batteries and to me record time. So. Yurik says he has a power supply just because I'm typically charging two at the same time. And I could be wrong, but I think the limit would be about 20 or two batteries, 25 amps each with the internal. So let's try it. We're all in here. The other thing that's pretty badass as well is these things this charger comes with leads and everything else. So yeah, okay. So I thought that's what it was, but it also adds more. So does it add more power as far as it'll add more speed to the car? And then also does that also gets to a point too where you have to, are you trying to time things at that point too, Dustin? As in, because obviously that speed is generated, I'm assuming that's generated by heat and everything as well. So I guess my question there is when you charge at 40 amps versus 20 amps, do you need to, and I get it probably it adds more initial more punch and all that, but does it, like, do you need to be more cognizant of when you charge the battery, I guess, like leading up to a run is the question. And that's what I'm trying to get out of my head there. Like, do you have to time it to where things are still nice and warm and you charge them right before you go out and things like that? Yeah, well, we know you run mod, Dustin. Yeah, he runs. So you just do it simply get stuff charged faster. That's fair. But I even at 20, I've never felt like I have a situation where I have to rush to charge things. Even when bumping, like with 4 batteries, I've just never, get back to your bench and get started. Get started quickly. So, Eric said, I think it's 500 watt internal. So, however, the calculation would be for charging 2 at 40. But I'm sure we're going to try it right here. So, if I blow something up, don't let Kaylee drive my RC cars. She'll break them. What?
If I blow up in here.
Well, I'm going to blow us both up. That ain't no good. We're not going to blow up more than once. All right, so there's 40. And let me back out over here. Sorry for that noise if anybody's completely annoyed by it. I'm sure like Kaylee is. All right, so that one goes there, and this will crank up very quickly, guys, so I apologize for that. So I cranked them both at 40, just so everybody knows. They're both charging at 40 right now, and I didn't get any error messages, and I didn't get anything. So one battery is at 20. So was it 24%, 28%, 30%? Like it's going up like crazy. 34%, 36%, 37%. Now this thing's going to take off like mock Jesus. So they charged so fast that it did fall off. They both got to like 38 at one point, and now it's went back down to, it's like getting to peak charge. So it's slowing itself back down somewhat quickly. So, but no error messages or anything. So Dustin, don't, you ass. I'm not gonna blow it up. This is for science, anyways. Yeah, it is called Scale Labs. It's for science. So, but right now it did like we're at. So one side is. See if you guys can see it. One side is at 5 amps, and one side is at. Hold on a second. Oh, here we go. Hold up. Camera operator. So one side's at 5, one side's at 35, but the 35 side was at like sub 20% when we started here. So it does look like, just looking at those basic numbers, we're at 40 a side, well, a little bit over 40 a side. But again, this is for science. You charge these in a bag, so if there's ever any issues, that the bag handles it. It's what weenies do, like Dustin, basically. Us men over here, I say that and these batteries both blow up, but us men, we don't use lipo bags. Yeah, well, if they do have an issue, yeah. Yeah. Let's see, Danta. If you run spec class, is this fan like overbearing? Okay. So if you guys can't hear, there's a fan that runs. So anyway, I just had the microphone totally pointed at the fan, and it never did never did pick up. So, but that's okay. All good. Let's see. Trying to catch back up on comments while everybody watches this. Hopefully, not blow up in my hand. If you run spec classes, that's more important on timing and having heat in the battery. Okay, so like, but on mod stuff, Anthony, like what we run, no big deal. Then Dennis says he babies his batteries 20 amps. That's exactly what I do, Dennis. It's exactly what I do. Dustin's talking crap. He says poof. If we see smoke, we know you need an extra power supply. Yes, exactly. I'm not gonna blow it up live, Dustin. This is a quality piece. Dennis, no lipo bag. I do have one, but it's in my other bag across the table there. Dustin's still talking crap. Dustin says need to do it with a more dead pack. So this side, the 34 side, it had less than 20% in it. So it had less than 20% when we started. The car actually turned off after I practiced on Sunday because I drained it down. So Tracy says, anyone talk about why discharging and then charging back up puts juice in it at a higher amp? And then Dustin says, you're sure? Okay, cool. Yeah, I know we kind of have close to the same setup there. Brent, what's up, man? Brent, hopefully doesn't mean that this is going to catch on fire, but all right. Well, we've proven our point, guys, and I actually need to discharge these things now. So we're going to stop this guy. Hopefully that got the point across. It was, super duper fast. And we went from 0 to not 0 very, very quickly. So 30 down and 30 up, ready to rock. So that would be interesting for us to all talk about. And again, I admittedly don't have enough knowledge to start the conversation, but we have plenty of people in here that do. So like when you guys come off the racetrack, when you guys are all talking about discharge and whatnot, do you discharge your batteries the rest of the way and then hit them like 3 races before or 5 races before, whatever, once you get a feel for timing? And then on mod stuff, does that even matter? Just all questions. But I'm gonna storage charge these guys so we can do that. And then I can actually try to show you guys kind of the workflow. Dustin says he honked. I hope you heard it. I did not. Normally I do hear you, Dustin, but I didn't tonight. So let's see. So if we and give me some grace here, guys, because I'm going backwards. But if I want to switch channels, one button, and you can see the blue. You can see the blue go back and forth right here, and then once I hit to switch channels, it'll switch it to right there. Perfect. And then it's as simple as okay. And then we can go up to what we want to change it to, which is instead of charge, we want to storage. Oops. Instead of storage, then we kind of have everything set for what we're wanting to do. Hit okay. Everything's on high voltage, obviously, and then done. So it really is kind of that simple. Such a simple, awesome battery charger. And it has every modern feature you would want. It also has the LED indicators. I don't know if you can tell that, but it's telling you what's going on. So super cool as well. Let's see here. Bud Denning says RC discharger guys, lower IR, more punch. 30 down, then 30 up. Ready to rock. Cool. So, Bud Denning, if you're still in here, I'd love to know what you're. I would love for you to elaborate on that. So you're saying, like, when are you going down? Curious on that, and then when back up. Josh Collier says, "See, I would like Dustin and Mac. I would be like Dustin and max it out, just so it's less waiting for a battery to charge." But I understand that, and I appreciate that mindset, guys, for Josh and Dustin both. But what's the point of rushing them if we're going to sit around and wait anyway? Just call a spade a spade. There's very few times other than when mains start and if you're bumping. Dustin isn't a bump guy for the most part. So, Josh, I think you run pretty good down there at Kaminsky too. So you're probably not much of a bump guy either. So what's the rush? And then wear your stuff out quicker. But again, pros and cons to everything, I'm sure. Let's see. Aaron says, when I come off the track, I just rejuice them. That's what I do, Aaron. I agree. Malakote. How much is Coyote paying me for this infomercial? Coyote's paying me the exact same amount that GFRP is paying me. So if that tells you anything, that's how much I'm getting paid, Dustin. Hopefully. I'm being a smart ass. Hopefully that doesn't get me in trouble. So I can pack. Dustin says it matters because he's trying to pack his stuff up early. I get that. Dustin is the king of pack your stuff up early. He might be the only racer I've ever seen that he's going to run 2A mains and had all of his stuff packed up before the D mains were over with 2 cars and his transmitter box sitting there. That was about it. No one talks about Fight Club. I like that, Tracy. Let's see, Danta. If you want the best, most punch and batteries that last the longest in a run, charge a pack fully. Longest in a run, charge a pack fully, dump it, and charge it at high amps. And when it's done, hit the track. Typically time that out in practice to know how many minutes. Okay, so All right, so to go off of what here, I'm actually going to put this on the screen because that's really good information, Anthony. Thank you for putting this. So what Anthony is saying is you charge your battery all the way up, and then you discharge it, and then you time the time between discharge and recharging it, and when you do the recharge again, you're doing it at high amps right before you hit the track. So you want that to end like the race before yours, as long as you have time to, or maybe 2 races before yours, so you still have time to get the battery in it, plug it in, and get the body back on, and all that. But that's how Anthony's saying to get maximum performance out of your batteries. Definitely something I personally haven't done, and probably should give it a shot. That's definitely not the main issue in my program, but definitely something to look at. Bud Denning, start with storage voltage. Okay, yeah, so we're all saying the same thing. So thank you, Bud, for getting it started. Then Anthony kind of described everything there, so that was cool. Thank you, guys. Chase is in here. What's up, Chase? Look forward to seeing you at PT's. Hopefully, you got your car that was in multiple pieces put back together. Still, that was a gnarly sitch. Let's see. Tracy says no one talks about fight. Oh, we already read that. Josh says he very rarely bumps. Well, that's me and you both, brother. So we're all in the same spot. Bud says best thing is to run a cycle and time it. Yep. Then count the heats. Be ready to head to tech with a few minutes to spare. Yep. Hold on, they gave you a set of tires. That's that's fair, Dustin. That's fair. But here's the main question, Dustin. Does a set of tires cost the same amount as a premium rack of ribs at Chili's? And that is where the conversation starts and or ends. And so just so you guys know, since I've been here talking, battery was charged up to whatever it was. I think we were in the 90%, and now it's storage charged back down to 32% already. And I know that I babied it on the discharge. So that's that. And then let's see. Josh says, but a majority of the time, if I'm not working on my car, I occasionally help others at the track or helping the track owner with stuff. Yeah, for sure. And that's the nice thing about the battery stuff. Talking about when I kind of push back on like what's the rush, in a way, even if you're helping and stuff, this is all kind of unattended, right? So you get it on there and just let it do its thing while you're kind of away. So, but I understand what you're saying totally. Aaron says, "Oh snap, might be some customers' cars on the table next week." I would, so out of respect to Dustin and everybody, I would, just because so many people have so many different cars from a Scale Labs perspective, it would be really cool. It would be really cool to have, Custom Works and Velocity to be able to talk about all of it. But yeah, I mean, I don't know. I love my GFRP stuff. My GFRP stuff's been good to me. Dustin's been good to me. Everybody at GFRP has been good to me. All the team guys. So I don't have anything negative to say about GFRP, and they're making me a better racer every time I put the car down. So hard to complain there. Yep, Bud's agreed with Danta for spec racing classes. Mod's not a big deal. Yep. Dustin says biggest reason is to get heat in a pack. Heated lipo bag is easier. Okay. Hooks is in here. What's up, Tyler? Badass to see you in here, man. Episode number 3 of the Scale Labs podcast. Tyler Hooks, 2026 world champ, is in here. He says, disclaimer, it will break down the battery faster, but does not make a difference for sure. But does make a difference for sure. So yeah, it's basically, I mean, it's just like anything else in RC, guys. There is a a cause and effect to everything we do. And at the end of the day, that ends up being you're gonna have less life of your battery, but while the battery life is alive, if you will, it's going to perform better. So Are you willing to give up some life of your battery and have to go get new batteries more often to have better performance out of your battery? And that's kind of everybody's, that's everybody's prerogative. But that's what Hooks is saying. Hooks wants to know that Dustin, does he beats his pack? Wow. Yep, for sure. And let's see. Dustin said, my best run at Shootout, the pack was charged 2 hours before the run with no cycle. So there you are. Straight from the man. He says, no heat cycle, no nothing. He charged it 2 hours before he was on the track in spec racing, and I know he did well. So mac and cheese was good. Ribs were mid. That's fair. That is fair. They definitely looked mid. The enchilada soup at Chili's is where it's dialed in. And also, if we want to start talking like a fat kid that I am, can we all agree that the chicken crispers that used to be at Chili's needs to come back? Does anybody remember the soft breaded chicken tenders at Chili's that were the world's greatest chicken tenders? RIP to those. Can we all take a moment of silence for soft breaded Chili's chicken tenders, please? All right, thank you. That's needed. When we go to Chili's, I expect to get enchilada soup and I expect to get softly breaded chicken tenders, and that no longer can happen, and that makes me sad. So that's where that's at. Hooks wants to see Malacote run a gear diff, big gear diff guy. What? Let's see. Josh says he's fixing to get a Custom Works car. Had planned on a GFRP, but didn't work out. That's fair enough. Different strokes for different folks. Oh, my wife's turned on me in the comment section. That's great. Am I the only person in America that puts steak or puts cheese on their steak? I don't think so. I think plenty of people put steak on their cheese. Cheese on their steak. It's not offensive. It's not offensive. Bud says, I don't necessarily full charge and then cycle for mod racing. I run a lot of carpet oval. Also, and we basically full charge, then cycle every time we hit the track. The whole cycle process creates an internal temperature in the pack, which is better for the pack. The heated lipo bags are worst for the pack. EA did a whole test on the bag versus no bag. Interesting. So what Bud's saying here is like he's saying that the natural heating of the battery charging up and discharging and then charging back up again, that is good for the battery, where if you're putting artificial heat to the battery, that's not a good thing. And I could get behind that. I see that. Malacote says gear diffs dialed. JBM 38. TMG FRB cars are great. Lots of great tuning options. Absolutely. Tracy says no cheese. Can't trust you, Tracy. That's it. Can't trust you if you don't put cheese on the steak. Can't trust anybody who doesn't put cheese on their steak. Just a nice piece of government cheese. That makes the steak, that takes any steak that is already fantastic and just makes it so much better. I'll die on that hill all day long. Josh says he doesn't put steak on his or cheese on his steak either. Y'all are missing out, is all I'm saying. Straight up. But now that we've got a pretty solid advertisement in for Team GFRP and Coyote, one thing that I did pick up over the weekend, I learned about from some people, and I want to try it. I don't know how bought in versus unbought in I am about it. See, that's why Uric is my best friend on planet Earth. Uric is number one. And Uric's number one because Uric says cheese belongs on everything. So shout out Uric. That's why he's my man. One thing I am excited to try out, guys, is this. They had them at PTs, and I actually heard a bunch of guys talking about them over the weekend. I think these are relatively new product. Try to get some of the glare off of it. It's so shiny. But this is from Custom Works. They they have a new diff screw that's all machined to maybe prevent some of that stretch is the idea. But the really cool thing is it comes with an O-ring and it's flanged, to where that O-ring will keep a lot of the gunk, a ton more gunk and stuff out than a standard bolt and a standard diff bolt will. At least that's how it's been advertised to me. So super excited. I got 2 of them to try out in both cars. Definitely something I will report back on when I race next. But might be something to look into, because this looks like a pretty serious situation. So check that out if you guys haven't. Part number right up here on the screen. And yeah, so gonna give that a try from Custom Works. And it fits in basically all diffs from what my understanding is. So we'll give that a try and see anything that makes things even a little bit better. It's supposedly, since it's slotted at the end, it's slotted as well. I don't know if anybody can see that. So whoever was telling me about this, you're supposed to be able to come in at an angle with your 2 mil wrench, because that slot's at 2 mil, and you can actually adjust your diff tightness without taking the car apart. Again, I don't know. I haven't tried that myself. Don't know if there's any truth to that, but for like a quick tuning option could be available as well. I'll check in, or I'll report back on that for sure. David says, what kind of cheese on the steak? I'm assuming David's asking about. Just a piece of government cheese. Just a good old slice of Kraft. If you're feeling really bougie, you can throw some Colby Jack on there and get after it. Theans is in here. What's up, Ryan? Ryan says he gets hated on for putting ketchup. Wow. I might even hate on ketchup on a steak. I don't like ketchup. I'm not a big ketchup guy though, Ryan, but you know what? I put cheese on mine, so I can't judge another man for anything that he puts on his steak. So I'm with you. Greg McCord. What's up, Greg? How we doing, man? Greg says, if you make the Tulsa Chili Bowl next year, we'll get you some good fat kid food. I like that. I like the sound of that. I do plan next year, depending on how things shake out with work and everything like that. I would really like to do kind of a double down and go to Tulsa and go to Motorama. But we'll see how all that shakes out. I don't know how feasible that is. Maybe we can do 1 year, do one, and 1 year do the other. But before we do that, I got to make sure I even get signed up for them, because I was late on getting signed up and was on wait lists for both. So, or I don't even know if Motorama even has a wait list. But Kaylee wants to know if she got outranked by Uric. Because of Uric's love of cheese, you might get slightly outranked. Josh says he puts A1 on steaks. Anything my dad always said, anything with A1 you're ruining it. So I always just remember that. I don't know. I've never done A1 myself. Knievel's in here. What's up, Josh? He puts ketchup on it too. So Josh and who was it? Oh, Ryan. Josh and Ryan are gonna go to the steakhouse and put ketchup on it together. That's fine. Tracy said, I only judge people who get their steak cooked well. Yes, I am there all with you on that. Anybody who gets well done steak, that's messed up. Rare to medium rare at best. Danta says, well, Anthony, we all know that Uric doesn't need the cheese, but he wants the cheese. So is what it is. Dylan's in here. What's up, man? He said his wife puts ranch on her steak. I love your wife all of a sudden. I could get behind ranch too. I'm a big ranch guy. I'm a big cheese and big ranch guy. It's probably the way I look. That's why I look the way that I look. But I could dip just about anything in ranch too. I've definitely dipped my steak in ranch before when I didn't have cheese. So I'm with her on that. I'm behind it 100%. Chris Stagner, what's up, Chris? He says garlic cream sauce on his. I can get behind that too. That sounds good. Or like garlic butter and stuff. I'm behind that. I'm completely behind that. Rob says he sent me a message with TLR diff tool. Okay, cool. I'll check that out, Rob. Kaylee, that's a very Sam thing to do too. Let's see. Bud said pretty ballsy going head to head with qualifying, but I'm not sure what you mean. I think I might have missed something. Oh, you're saying going. I'm assuming you're talking about qualifying for the 500, and that's fair. But if it does make you feel any better, I'm pretty sure we've got 52 people concurrent. That's pretty close to a record, if not a record. So I think we're doing all right. Funny enough, I actually need to turn it on again because it's since timed out. But it's hilarious that you say that, bud, because if I have a 360 spin on my camera here, give me just a second. That's actually what was. Please hold. So if you guys actually see, let me see if it'll go through the ring light and rotate. It may not. It may or may not rotate enough. Yeah, tour of our Messies. But if you can see in the background there, it has. We have some. We're also redoing this room, so we need to get trim and stuff on. Show Kaylee. There's Kaylee's head. Maybe it'll rotate this way around the ring light. Well, you can kind of see it, gosh darn it. So I'm watching qualifying. The qualifying's playing in the background. So I just mortified Kaylee that everybody's seeing that we're redoing this room, and she everybody sees that, but that's all right. All good in the neighborhood. But so I see what you're saying, bud. But yeah, I think we're doing just fine. Actually, we just lost 10 people showing the room, probably. Let's see. Yeah, yeah. Kaylee has a good point there. A lot of people watch this on through Facebook and stuff, so they're probably on. We have almost 10 people, 11 people on YouTube. That's not bad. But maybe people are multitasking. Could be. So Kyle Busch to the front. That's pretty good. Josh says he's getting judged for his steak. He must get his well done. Dylan says he's a bougie ranch guy. I eat on everything minus steak. I'm with you. Everything but steak, though. I don't know. I can find a way to fit in ranch on just about any meal, I think. Malco says we're all weird. But yeah, Bud, we were all talking about that. So Bud's on the same page with us. Dennis says he had a person put a tablespoon of peanut butter on their chili. Number one, I'm not a chili guy, but I don't know about that. And when I'm not live, Spencer says turn on Volusia. I will be flicking back and forth between Daytona qualifying, I believe USAC's at Ocala, and then watching Volusia. So I'm right there with you, Spencer. I'll be bouncing back and forth. At one time, Kaylee and I had several TVs all plugged in at once, trying to watch. We were watching a bunch. We had one thing on our phone, another thing on the iPad. So it can get pretty dicey in here pretty quick. Let's see. Chris says turn your desk. Yeah, no kidding. Malco wants to know why any of us idiots would watch qualifying. That's a good question, Dustin. I don't know. I don't. It's just cool to see who's gonna qualify good for the granddaddy of them all. I guess. Ooh, Bud with the hot take. Bud says all dirt racing should be on flow. I don't disagree with that by any means. I just would I don't have a preference between flow and dirt vision. I think there's good and bad about both. I just wish that you could watch. I wish there was one place to watch everything. Like I don't care which one it is. I just wish there was a place to watch everything. That's my big thing, or my opinion on it all, if you will. Just as bad as dirt vision, flow is bad at times though too. About seems like half the races typically end up on free on YouTube because Flow's having some kind of connection issue, and you don't typically see that under. I know it literally happened last night. Now that we're talking about it for Dirt Vision, but for the most part, Dirt Vision seems to be pretty stable for the few times I've used it, at least. Malako's watching speed skating. That's fair. Malako's also a big soccer guy, though, so I don't know how much we can trust Malako. Yeah, Stephen Gillespie says 300. That's the wildest thing is I don't. I mean, and don't get me wrong, I pay for it too. I pay for Dirt Vision and Flow, but the fact that Flow is, I believe it's half price of Dirt Vision, and you get like, I bet you get 10 times more content on Flow than you do Dirt Vision. So the fact that Dirt Vision is that much more, you hit the nail on the head, Steven. That is crazy, and I'll buy that. Let's see. Dylan says he has a jailbroken Fire Stick, so he gets to watch Flow and Dirt Vision for free. Yeah, until freaking the FBI breaks your door down. Just kidding. I do. I know. Actually, I have a lot of friends who, or I know a lot of people who black market those jailbroken Fire Sticks. I should probably look into it. I definitely know. I know the person to call for it. Um, Probably should, frankly, but now it's on the internet. I'm a criminal, I guess. I haven't done that. Probably should. I'm with you, Dylan. I can get behind that. Let's see. Bud says speed skating. That the soccer of the Winter Olympics. Bud said. I like that. That's awesome. Joshua says agreed. Wish they were combining everything. Yeah, no, I agree 100%. But I guess in the same breath they say, what do they say? The competition's good or whatever. Um, but I also don't ever feel like they're making each other better. So I don't. I get it. Oh, let's see. Malakote says way more exciting than Daytona. Yeah, I mean, I think you watch qualifying at Daytona more for the story of everything and try to get the story from the off season of stuff, and especially as horrible as the Clash was, I think that's kind of the idea behind watching Daytona. I would. Another thing that I wish people would do, or these streaming services would do, or be required to do, is I wish they would show or have to show their numbers. I think that would be the most interesting thing to know, like who's on and who isn't. The amount of people like that watch Volusia versus that watch Ocala tonight for USAC versus that watch Daytona. Like those numbers to me would be super interesting to know. You know, one man's opinion, but I'd like to know that. Dylan says to Malco, watching paint dry is more exciting than Daytona qualifying. That's fair. Like I said, I'm personally not watching it to watch cars go around the racetrack. Like it's cool to see. I also think it's really cool that the entirety of a field's going to be. It's actually a little bit more spread out than I was kind of expecting, to be honest. But when the duels and stuff happen, that'll be cool to watch and all that as well. Duels typically get pretty exciting. Um, then there's that builds storylines of everybody wadding their stuff up and they got to build it back and all that. So, but I don't disagree with you guys. Like it's definitely not the most exciting thing in the world to watch a single car go around what's Eldora 2.5 mile or Eldora. Geez, what's Daytona? 2.5 miles probably, but I don't know. It's just about the story and about building the season for me, I guess. Kind of, and I also, I get past about I don't know. I don't know. I don't follow NASCAR a ton. I keep up with kind of who won, but through the middle of the summer, I feel like I don't ever even watch the race for the most part. Let's see. McNatt says there used to be an app that had every racing subscription on it, and every subscription on it, and all you had to pay was $15 a month for the app. That would be badass. I have no idea what that is, but that would be sick. I'm assuming it's not around anymore, but Bud says a lot of RC guys I know are working on cars at Daytona. You sharpen skates on that side. On the side, you sharpen skates on the side. Bud says to Dustin. That's funny. Last time I looked, JBM38. I'm sorry, I don't know who you are or what your name is, other than JBM38. But last time I looked, he was number 1. He might have just got bumped. I have to look. It's on a commercial with. Oh my god, that looks great. There's currently an Arby's commercial and mozzarella sticks were on there. Yeah, I'm starving. I am starving. I am ready to eat. We've already been on an hour. Yeah, it's about time to cut this rig short so we can go and eat. Let's see. Yeah, but I know like Danny Stockton. He's a big guy down there, and there's definitely others. Danny's the one that I know. I don't know him personally, but I'm like friends with him on Facebook and stuff. So it's cool to follow along. And he had a lot of success last year in trucks. So, or no, in let's see, he was on Jesse Love's car and the Xfinity stuff, I think. So Ryan says I wish they would have nightly announcers that actually know the cars. It's nice when McDowell and someone else helps. Yes, no, I agree. I really like the coverage, Ryan, when they do the driver. I think they do it more on when you're watching like the Xfinity series the night before, but they'll have a lot of times where the drivers or the commentators. I like that because the insight's a lot better typically. I'm with you, and that goes for the NASCAR side, the dirt side, all of them. When those guys, and Rich, what's up, Rich? Rich's first comment in here tonight, but Rich hit it on the nail with Randy Weaver. Like Randy Weaver always is very insightful when you're watching Flo at all those big Eldora races and stuff, for sure. Musterman said, "Who let you out? What's up, man? What's up, Brian? Good to see you, man." Josh, I don't think that you need to introduce Cletus McFarland. If there's anybody in here that doesn't know Cletus McFarland, that's a bad gig. I think everybody knows. Actually, today, when I was running some machines, I was watching his when he got approved for the truck race. So I'm with you. That's cool. Yeah, he's running ARCA and he's going to run ARCA and trucks. So yeah, he's not going to run on Saturday. He'll run. I think that's like Friday morning and Friday night. I think is how I think they stack ARCA and trucks at the same time. But Bud says Junior Motorsports Cup car is Jim Pullman, crew chief. Cool. Awesome. That's cool, bud. I like that. But all right, guys. Well, we've already been on here an hour and 15. Like I've already kind of alluded to, I am starving. We basically shot a pretty sick promo for GFRP and Coyote. So happy with happy with that. But does anybody have anything else would they want to hit on? Or and whoever asked about Kyle Busch, JCM 38, I think Kyle Busch is still P1. Corey Heim P3, that's pretty impressive. He's going to be pretty good. Corey LaJoy, I like Corey LaJoy. He's P8. But anything you guys want to talk about before we get off here? There's still 40 people, so I hate to cut the stream short when we got 40 people on, but might be a good time to cut it short. Cut it short and get out of here. We have all kinds of podcasts coming out. Tyler Keel will be out. His episode of the podcast will be out tomorrow, so be on the lookout. Does everybody feel pretty good about the podcast releasing on Thursday? And has everybody on here listened to the podcast as well? If not, or if you have, I would love to hear feedback and all that. If anybody has any for how to make the podcast better, and would love to know if you guys think should I keep releasing it on Thursdays, or is there better timing, or what? Just again looking for feedback. That's all. Musterman said Cletus getting approved made the bald eagle stand a little taller today. I believe that. Yes, sir. Greg McCord, thank you, man. I appreciate it. We're working really, really hard on the podcast, getting a lot of really, really cool people on, and going to continue to get a lot of really cool people on. I know the list right now. There's I think I have 6 or 7 scheduled within the next few weeks. So it's really, really cool. We got a bunch of really cool names in our hobby. Big names, small names, names you may not have heard of that you should have heard of that, they're not getting their flowers for whatever reason. So that's what the podcast is all about, bring awareness to people who, just trying to tell the stories for people or tell the stories of people and really try to grow our hobby. So that's all it's about. Producer Kaylee just put the link down there for Spotify, and I'm sure she'll do the other ones here shortly, but Spotify, nope, she's not. Cool. Spotify in particular. All guy in top 10. Yep, that's cool. Yeah, he's P9 right now. Austin Dillon, not a big fan of Austin Dillon. Not he could get bumped. I'd be okay with that. Just not a big fan of him. Wow, anybody watching live right now, Ryan Blaney's mustache is too much. Hot take. That is too much. Ryan Blaney's mustache is wow. That's incredible. Knievel says Thursday's perfect. Cool. Cool. Awesome. Well, I feel like Thursday is really good too. And I'll tell you why I picked Thursday is I feel like Thursday is perfect amount of time for people to start getting amped up about going to the races, the following weekend. And then if you can't listen to it on Thursday or Friday, when you're on your way to the track on Saturday or whatever, you're in RC mood. It's been out long enough for you to get a chance to listen to it. But if you haven't, then it's there for when everybody's in an RC mood and ready to go race or on your way home or whatever. So that's kind of the mindset behind it. But Moke said, sorry if I'm butchering your name there, but he said get Shane Wheeler on the podcast. Awesome. I'm always looking for people to be on for sure. A lot of mustaches this year. Giles Speed Shop says. Producer Kaylee put the YouTube link in there as well. You put the Spotify link in twice under YouTube too. Kaylee dueled up the Spotify link. Everybody check out the Spotify for sure. I mean, it doesn't matter as long as people are getting a chance to listen to it. That's why it's on multiple platforms. So I would put it on Facebook if we could, but the episodes are too long that Facebook won't let me upload them. So Jim Pullman is Kyle Busch's crew chief. Greg Ives is on Junior Motorsports. Is Greg Ives and Jim Pullman both RC guys? I didn't know that. So that's pretty badass if they are. I like that. And anybody who's on here, I know tonight was kind of a simple night. We'll get back to next Wednesday we'll get back to our kind of regularly scheduled programming of tips and tech tips and stuff. But this was kind of impromptu and we got to talk. I mean, I think people learned about the Charger that they may not have known about, so that's pretty cool. But and I cannot believe, guys, that we keep between 30 and 50 people on here the entire time that we're live. So I'm so appreciative of you guys. Thank you. It's always humbling. I can't, it's always cool. So I appreciate you guys so much, and I'm thankful. So 2 open cars, going back to here, 2 open cars, Justin Allgaier and Corey Heim, both finished in the top 10. That's pretty damn awesome. And wow, Joey Logano was bald. Hell yeah. I don't know why everybody's celebrating, though, if there's still cars going around the track. Corey Heim had a hell of a run, though, for sure. William Minner, I hope to see Carson Hocevar win some. I like Hocevar myself, William, for sure. The Twisted Sister cars or the new Spec Cup cars. The Twisted Sister cars or new Spec cars in Cup. I don't know. I don't think anybody can say, especially on these bigger tracks, the spec stuff's not that great typically. Just me though. I don't know. I think the Twisted cars were always, they were always badass. But Ryan Ralph says, "Give me $20." I don't know about that, Ryan. I was hoping you'd give me $20, and then maybe how about this? You give me $20 and I'll shut up. That seems fair. Oh, I see what you're saying. I get that they're locked in, Dan. So there's a yellow line under the top 10. I don't have sound on, so I wasn't sure if there was top 10 versus. All it means is they're guaranteed to race. I guess they're like nobody's gonna get. I guess I don't know. Since Ralph's in here and Anthony brings up a good topic, we did put last Wednesday, we showed everybody how to kind of apply a setup sheet, and we did use Ryan Ralph's PT setup sheet. And I will say The car was the best I've ever had a car at PTs. The unfortunate part about that is I showed up to PTs with new motors, new ASCs, and a new transmitter. So I played catch up all weekend. Um, but again, if I could start the weekend over where I finished, I think I would have my best results that I've had in a long time. I qualified 19th out of 37 in seating, with having almost no power in the car. I didn't quite understand the ESC stuff just yet, and I was behind. So it was awesome to once I had all like again I had probably it would have been the same thing if I turned my endpoints down to like 40%. I had almost no power in the car and still finished 19 or qualified 19th out of 37. That started me fourth in my heat race, and I finished third, I believe. Let me make sure here. I wrote it down on my setup sheet. Yeah, started fourth, finished third, um, which put me fifth in a C main there. And I finished and I drove from fifth to fourth. So always made progression every time the car was on the track, which is typically different for me in racing because typically I freak out when everybody's around me and I don't want to affect anybody's race. This, that, and the other. So typically I go backwards when racing situations happens, not because my car is slow or because even I'm slow, but I'm slow from the fact of racing around people and being so worried about wrecking somebody. So I had a car that I could drive. So yeah, thank you for bringing that up, Anthony. Car was good. Car was really really good. And again, I'm really 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 excited to get back to the racetrack on the 21st and see where I stack up because I think it'll be really good. And hopefully I will be just as good then as well. I stayed and we did the PT's garage thing on Sunday, and I stayed for and practiced a few laps. Got a pack through the car, and even then it was hands down the best car, most comfortable car I've had there. So no complaints. The motors are awesome. ESCs are awesome. The transmitter's awesome. Everything about it's awesome. So. Let's see. Johnny says the top 10 qualify. Oh, the top 10 qualify again for the front row. Got it. Okay. Thanks, Johnny. That's cool. I think they were cheering because they were mathematically couldn't be knocked out, is what it was. They were high enough to guaranteed they're not going to get knocked out, which that was cool. Ralph says setups are $20 a person. That's fair enough. And let's see, Spencer. What do you mean? What I freak out about?
Like whenever you're racing, you freak out.
Oh, I totally freak out. Yeah, I totally. I'm just so worried about. You're 100%. I mean, I'm sure. Spencer's raced around me enough now to know. Like, you get around me, and it's like, man, I just get out of the way. I just dart right, go to the wall, and get out of everybody's way. But I'm also typically not involved in many wrecks unless I drive into them. So, um, which hopefully that'll pay dividends and later. And I feel like I'm a pretty good guy to race around as far as not affecting people's races typically. So, which is good. I like I like being that guy. I like being the guy that doesn't affect outcomes of races, unless I always try to affect them positively, obviously. So, all right, guys, I'm calling it here. We got 30 people still in here, but I'm getting off. So I appreciate you guys so much. Thank you. This was the number 10. Can't believe we've already had 10. We've been doing this obviously for 10 weeks now, or less than that. So, um, yeah, and Spencer and I did get a viral video, well, I guess I got a viral video of Spencer this weekend too. So if you guys haven't checked that out, check it out on the Scale Labs page. But thank you guys so much again. I appreciate you from the bottom of my heart. Thank you for spending time with me as we talk RC. Thank you for listening to the podcast. It means the world to me. It means the world to RC. I think we're doing good things over here. We're growing the hobby. Things are kind of on an upward trajectory. Things feel good right now. So we're just going to keep doing our part and keep sending RC to the moon, baby. So thank you guys again. Have a great night. Have a great rest of your week. Be careful wherever have safe travels to the next track you're going to, and good luck at that race. So appreciate you guys. If you have any questions or need anything, reach out to the Scale Labs page, and I'll get back to you as soon as I can. And if not, I'll see you when I see you. Thank you, guys.